Soften up the mess, drop it in the water, let the daughter find her image with the rest. She'll be learning how to breathe, spinning through identity.
Hi guys, welcome back to the Godly Girlies podcast, season 2. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for tuning in to our second season. I am your host, Arkeylah, and today I am joined by a very special guest.
Hi. I am Arkeylah, and I am Ikeira's big sister. Well, not your older, but one of your big sisters. Yeah. And I have a bachelor's in athletic training, which I got from Kent State University, and I have a master's in sports psychology, which I got at California University in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And I am 25.
Period.
Yes.
So Arkeylah is joining us today for Wisdom Wednesday, and we are just going to dive into mental health in the church. Like Arkeylah said, she studied sports psychology, so she knows a lot about, mental health and mental wellness, as well as just like physical wellness as well. So she's going to talk about that, and we also have some questions from the poll that is posted on our Instagram. So if you're not following our Instagram, please go do that so that you can submit your questions for our guest. But just to start us off and get some background understanding on who Arkeylah is, we're going to have like a little mini testimony of her life or whatever. So just to start us off, Arkeylah, how did you enter into the faith? Like, how did you start your relationship with God?
Oh, okay. So I grew up in church, like most people. I grew up in church, always in church, from my grandma to my mom to my aunts. Just overall, our whole family was in church. Uncles are pastors. So the ministry was very alive in our family. So I guess in the younger times, it was like more like that's just what you had to do. But I would say my faith on my own pretty much started or came back alive personally when I was in college. When I was getting my bachelor's, I would say my freshman year, I was having anxiety, like really bad. I was going through all these emotions on top of being what is it called? Homesick, I would say. So it was just like, I'm up here by myself. I don't have any family. I don't know any of these people. And I was just going through all these emotions I wasn't used to. So I just started, I guess, seeking God more unintentionally, like not knowing that's what I was doing. But I knew like what I was feeling wasn't me. And then, like, as time went on, I was hanging out, going out, college stuff. And after a while, it just, again, started feeling not like me. So I felt God just pulling me away from certain situations. And I knew it was only God because I'm like, I was used to it. And then, like, sometimes I would just be like, yeah, this is not like me. So I knew it was God. So I knew that the foundation that I had when I was younger was coming back alive, and it was more personally. And I had to really have faith in God, being away from home, and seek a relationship with him on my own because there was nobody else there for me. Like, I didn't have my mom, my grandma to pray over me and stuff like that. So I would say definitely in college, trying to get away from things that were not like me, things that were not in his will for me. And then when I was younger, I was born with a bone disease. So it was like, I always knew there was somebody that, there was a God that had helped me come out of a lot of surgeries and a lot of injuries I had. So the faith has always been there, but it really came back alive when I was in college, I would definitely say. And even now, as I'm out of college, like I got my master's, and now I'm trying to enter into my career, I am back in my word. So I read my Bible daily. Not only do I read it, but I break it down and I understand it and I apply it to my life. So it's like I just see my relationship growing closer and closer as I get older. And I see it being more personally and not because my family had me in church. Like, it's like I have a hunger for it. Like, I have a hunger to have God in everything I do. Like, not just my business about mental health, but like, even when I'm at work, like, I have to pray to deal with some things that I deal with. Like, I just know it's God that has me in certain situations, so I have to pray my way through it and out of it.
That was good. Oh, I love this. Okay, so you talked about your business, which I did not talk about yet. So would you like to shameless plug, like, what your business is, like how it started?
Yes. So I have a business. It's called Happy Sports LLC. And basically, I just trying to get into my field. And I was talking to my family about all these different seminars I was going to. So I was talking to my cousin specifically. And I was like, yeah, I'm glad to go to the sports symposium. And he was like, yeah, you got to plug yourself. Like, you have a passion behind what you're doing. Like, you have a story to be told. Like, you was born with this and blah, blah, blah. So my cousin actually gave me the name. Happy Sports come from my nickname, Happy. And then sports is, of course, my background in sports. So he actually gave me the name. But basically what I do is mainly I'm a mental performance coach. So I go to teams and I help them do team bonding. I do one-on-one sessions. I help them talk about stress, anything from their mindset on the court or on the field to what they're dealing with at home. Like, sometimes I'm just a listening ear because I really work with a lot of kids right now. So sometimes I am dealing with kids that don't have that outlet, like that don't know how to talk to people or don't even know how to word their emotions. So my main thing right now is just being a mental performance coach and going out helping the youth, better themselves. I work with AAU teams. I even try to go into the city and work with like city schools and stuff like that. But ultimately, I would like to be contracted like personally. So I would be working with athletes individually or with teams individually. So I won't have anybody over me. I'll just be going out by myself and working with them. And I realized there was a need for it because mental health is getting bigger and bigger, especially in the sports, and it's no one here really doing it. So when I don't know, it's like, it was definitely God, like, that just gave me this plan. And I just, sometimes when I go to these practices and deal with these athletes, I'd be like, God, please fill my cup because I really don't have energy to go today, but I know these kids need me. Like, I don't know what I'm about to get myself into, but I know that you will be present in whatever it is that they want to tell me. Like, you allow them to seek me for it. So yeah, that's basically what I do. And then in the underground of it, I'll be doing like sports medicine, like athletic training stuff. So I'll be being able to be contracted by teams to do like the medical portion, like tape ankles before games, help with injuries and stuff like that. So I'm still getting a lot of certifications for it, but it's just a big scope of sports medicine under one roof.
That's pretty cool. So it's like, instead of like getting two different people, like a trainer and the mental health side, you'll just be
all in one.
Of it.
Absolutely.
You could double your rates for that.
Absolutely.
You're 2 in 1.
Yeah, and like a lot of this stuff, I don't just sit there and talk to them. Like, a lot of the stuff, I incorporate their skills. I incorporate conditioning. So we're doing basketball drills. We're doing football drills. We're doing, speed and agility stuff. But we're also applying it with our mental because, like I tell the kids, like, what the weight room is? I'm like that before your head, like for your mental. Like, I help you strengthen your brain. I help you understand some of these emotions you're going through. Like, our kids nowadays are dealing with so much that is not talked about. And they don't even know how to word the emotion they're feeling. So sometimes that end up with, anything, like not being, a good communicator, not wanting to finish school, not being a good kid at home. So just like a person like me, I can help them with things like that. It might seem little, like I'm just coming to practice, but it might roll over into home too.
Good stew.
Oh my goodness.
So So before we dig deep into the mental health aspect, just for the audience's understanding of like, how did your interest in this spark? Like, where did this come from? Like both your undergrad degree and your master's degree, like where did it stem from? I mean, I personally know, but
to tell the world, oh my goodness. It stemmed from when I was born. Well, of course, when I was born, but I was born with a bone disease. And with my bone disease, it's called osteogenesis imperfecta. And it caused me to, the definition is like kids that have brittle bones or people that is born with like really brittle bones. So there's different levels of it. There's like a very severe where literally you cannot walk. You're in a wheelchair. Like any little thing can break your bones, like any little thing. And then you have some that's not as severe. So I was born with osteogenesis imperfecta, and I had multiple surgeries. I had 2 broken elbows, 2 ankles, collarbone. Like, it was just different stuff I was going through. Both of my pinkies broke, and it was like when I was younger. So the slightest thing could break my bones. And during that time, I didn't see it like I see it now. Like during that time, I just was like, oh, I'm always at Children's Hospital. Like always, like that is my second home. I was going through surgeries, and then like my family would be like, we got to keep you in a bubble. And then my cousins would be like, oh, don't play with her because you'll break her. And then it didn't seem that big of an issue. But like now as I look back at it, like that hurt. Like knowing that I had to be isolated from everybody else and knowing that I was different. Mm-hmm. But now it plays into my passion. So growing up, like getting into middle school and high school, I started working with athletic training teams. The athletic training team of my high school. So I was able to travel with teams and go to sports events because I always had a love for sports, but I never was allowed to play sports. So I tried to run track, I think my freshman year of high school, and I dislocated my knee. So I was like, yeah, I probably should stop. Like, I see what they were talking about. I probably should not be doing this. So I started working with the athletic training team, and then I started growing a passion for it. Like, okay, I like this. Like, I like being able to help other athletes that similar to me, like they're breaking stuff and they're messing up stuff. So then my junior and senior year, I went to CTC for sports medicine. So that continued to grow my passion for it, or continue to add on to my passion for it. And then that's when I went to get my bachelor's in athletic training at Kent State. And then as I was working with athletes in college, I was realizing like some of them were coming in with injuries, but it was like more to it. Like, you know, they are depressed because they got an ACL and this is their last year. So it was just a lot. And I started, like, I pick up on energy and I pick up on it being more to people than what they're saying or showing. So I was in class one day and I heard one of my professors talking about, like, sports psychology. And he went into details of what it was. And I was like, okay, like, maybe I can do that. So then I ended up getting my master's. I read up on it a little bit after I came home, and I ended up getting my master's in it. And it just all pieced together. So I just knew it was God that aligned my path for me to, you know, go from one thing to another. So that's really how mental health, mental performance came for me.
Wow. Okay, so to dive in, I feel like we hear mental health all the time, like especially nowadays, but I feel like a lot of people don't have an understanding of like what mental health encompasses, like in totality, like what it all includes. So could you give like a definition, understanding of what mental health is?
So mental health is the wellness and the well-being of your brain and how you function. So when we hear mental health, a lot of people think ultimately like depression, anxiety. No, mental health is am I talking to people today? Am I social? Do I feel good about today? Am I overload? Like, do I have a lot on my plate? Am I overthinking? So it's a broad thing, but it's really the well-being and the wellness of your brain, of your mindset.
Mm-hmm. And like, how does it connect to like your physical health?
Good question. It connects a lot more than people know. Like, your brain is, I know everybody always say, you know, it starts in your heart, however you feel in your heart, blah, blah, blah. No, your brain is like what triggers everything. So as soon as you feel well, first of all, you have to think what you're feeling. Like, you know, I'm not going to hit my arm and be like, okay, I hit my arm. My brain's going to be like, that hurt. you need to look at that. Like, that hurts right now. So to say it goes with your physical, when you are not mentally okay, you are isolating yourself from the world. So you are not going to the gym. You're not getting up out of bed. So then you start having issues. You start having health issues. So you start, diabetes, all that stuff. Because sometimes when you're not properly functioning well in your head, you're not eating properly, you're not working out, you're not engaging, you're not stuff like that. So then it shows on your body. You look like you're tired. You look like you don't want to be here. Like, it's like it plays a huge role into your physical, Mm-hmm.
So relating it to church and to the gospel, which this is all about, Jesus, what are the stigmatism, that's the right word, right? Stigmas?
Stigmas, yeah.
Sorry, not stigmatism. I have astigmatism in my eye. What are the stigmas relating to mental health in the church? Because I know the main one I always think about is prayer.
Mm-hmm.
You just need to be laid on the altar. The Lord will heal that.
Absolutely.
But I know that there are things that you might not be, I don't want to say you might not be able to pray away, but that maybe God it's for you to continue to have, so that maybe you can help others, whatever the case may be. But what are some
So because I am faith-based and I believe in God, you cannot tell me anything about him. I believe in him.
Sure.
I ultimately, with my business and God, I ultimately think faith without work is dead. Mm-hmm. So I can have faith. I can pray to God. He can give me all the answers. But sometimes he going to send me to a therapist. Sometimes he going to be like, you need to seek a therapist. Or, sometimes he might give me that path to go seek a therapist or seek somebody like myself that can help you or just be a listening ear. So a lot of myths that you hear is the whole therapist thing. Some people who are Christian based or, in their word, they feel like that is not of God to go talk to a therapist. Mm-hmm. You need to talk to God. You need to pray it out. And I mean, that's true. But also, he put these people on this earth to help us. So if you know that you want to see a therapist, okay, talk to God. Hey, God, and just talk to him regularly. God, I need help. God, I am thinking about going to a therapist. If this is for me, let it be. And he'll show you okay, yes, that's who you need to go see. Mm. And then also you have people that believe that children don't go through mental health. And that's not true. A lot of mental health issues come from when they're kids, myself. A lot of that started when I was going through my, bone disease and stuff like that. Looking back on it now, I see that it was an issue. I see that I was isolating myself and stuff like that. So you just have myths that, mental health is of the devil, depression is of the devil, anxiety is of the devil. And granted, maybe it is. But are you talking to God about it? Mm-hmm. So it's it plays together. We have to seek God and seek, is that what he wants for us to go see a therapist? Is that what he wants for us to journal? I know people who pray about literally everything, which is amazing. Pray about literally everything, but pray about what's really important. Pray about what you're trying to do for yourself and you haven't heard from God to tell you to do that. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's just different myths and different things and stigmas that you hear in the church about mental health, anxiety, depression, schizophrenia, stuff like that.
Mm. Yeah, I definitely agree.
Yeah.
I think what you said, I think not just in church culture, but also in Black culture, there's the thing of not going to therapy and I don't know. I don't know what the idea behind that is of we don't need therapists, we just need to pray more. Mm-hmm.
And truly, I mean, if you look at statistics, African American Black people are the ones who deal with mental issues the most. Mm-hmm. Because we come from a culture who went through a lot. So one, we need to be seeking somebody just because of the stuff we went through, just because of the generational stuff we have going on in our families. But yeah, you definitely see it a lot with our own people that, stay away from therapists. And I don't talk to, what do they call it? what do they call not the physical therapist, but
Therapists?
yeah,
Shrinks?
yeah. I don't talk to shrinks and stuff like that.
I don't even get that.
Yeah, I don't know either. But yeah, so
yeah, like I do, like by all means, I do feel like there are things that you need to take to the Lord.
absolutely.
Like I do feel like there's like a spirit of anxiety and a spirit of depression
Absolutely.
that the Lord can deliver you from. But there also might be traumas that you need to work through. And like people might not have the tools per se to know how to like allow God to like walk you through that. And that's where God might lead you to a therapist who can do that for you and who can like give you the understanding. I just feel like for some people, like our prayer levels are like different, and there's certain things that we don't know how to go to God with. So I think that's where God uses other people to help us in a way in which we can grow from it, and it also help us in our relationship with Him, and then we grow closer to God, and then like it's holistically helping us in our relationship with God.
Yeah, and we all have a purpose on this earth. Like my mom said, He places people here for a reason. Doctors. As soon as we're not feeling good, we're gonna go to the doctor. You know, as soon as our arm is hurting, we're gonna go see somebody. So why not do the same thing for your mental? You know. I mean, pray your way to the hospital, pray your way while you laying in that bed, but He places people here to help us. He definitely places people. So I was about to say, we can't just sit here and wait, but we need to do that, because definitely sometimes God sit us still. But sometimes He always send us someplace too, and we need to be obedient, and we need to not go off of what the world is saying, but really if you are faith-based, seek into God. Seek what is He's trying to tell you. Yeah.
And I think another thing is like, while some people don't believe in therapists, I feel like it's like sometimes like because I know there are like Christian-based therapists, because I was watching this YouTube video and there was this lady who was a Christian-based life coach. So like helping you through life, but with God at the center. And I don't think God just gives these callings to people for us not to take advantage of what it is. Like He's not going to tell someone like, oh, I want you to be a Christian-based life coach.
Right.
But God doesn't believe in us needing a life coach. Like that just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And I think another thing is like discipleship is I feel like a thing that people don't do anymore. And that also leads to people like needing like a therapy, needing guidance of like, what am I doing with my life? And in a way, I just think sometimes we need more disciplers to like take people under their wing and help them through their relationship with God and help them through these things that they've also been through. So I think like a lack of disciplers is like, I don't know, also leading people to therapy when sometimes you just need both.
Yeah.
Because in the case that you don't have a Christian therapist, they're not going to help you in the way that you need. Like they may help you work through your trauma, but then they're not necessarily doing it from the background of like who God is.
Yeah, definitely. And that's what I say when I say like, if you want to go to a therapist, like ask God to put a therapist in your life, because He'll send you somebody that's going to give you His word or going to be rooted and grounded in Him, and you not even know that. Because it's been times where I'm going to practice and I'm like, God, what am I about to talk to these kids about? Like, and my head just be everywhere. Like, I don't know what I'm talking to them about. So I started realizing like, I need to pray before I go in here. 1, because I don't know what spirits I'm dealing with. 2, I probably didn't had a long day, so I need my cup refilled. And then 3, I just need guidance, simply guidance. So it's been times where I have no problem. Like, let's pray before we get started. These kids might not even know how to pray, but I do. So, I mean, even like at work now, like I'm dealing with a lot at work, but I'll be really quick to be like, okay, let's pray before we get started. So sometimes, most times, all times, God will send people in your life that are rooted and grounded and have a foundation in Him. So if we're going off of, what we hear, mental illness is a sin, you have to be, rooted and all this other stuff. That's not true. Like, if we're going off of that, we're not going to get anywhere. Like, we're not going to get anywhere at all.
Yeah, I agree. Because I also feel like you have, like, so many people in church nowadays. Like, it's mostly, like, the older generation who grew up with that idea of, like, mental health isn't a thing, or, like, I'm not going to therapy. Like, God's got it. God, you know, if there's something wrong, God will tell me. But I think there's also like, that's causing us to have like these older people in our churches who are like bitter in their hearts, who have hard hearts or have offense in their heart, and it's because of trauma that was never worked through. And it's like you're waiting for God to tell you about yourself when like he's probably already told you through the people he sent to you and who you've turned away from. So it's like things like that where it's just like, it's not just for children. The mental health thing is not just Gen Zers and stuff like that. It needs to go back. We need to revisit some of them old people and send them to therapy too.
Yeah, and it's like times are different now. Like I wasn't here in the 80s, but just seeing the 25 years that I have been here, I mean, even within the last few years, like social media is a big thing. Like stuff is continuously changing. So we are going through stuff our parents didn't go through. We are going through stuff our grandparents didn't go through. And like our pastor said when she was talking about like how to involve social media but not doing stuff like other people in social media. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So it's like we are in this world, but we're not of this world. And I think that's what a lot of people have to see the difference of. Like, we are in this world, so we need to see how we can function in this world, you know? And going off of that, what I was trying to say is times are different. So our parents and our grandparents are not going to always have the answer. You get what I'm saying? And sometimes they went through stuff that we didn't go through. And then we're going through stuff that they haven't went through. So we need to pray against these generational curses and generational issues. But we also need to seek how to deal with today's time.
Yeah.
And mental health is becoming a huge issue because stuff is changing. Social media is a big thing that a lot of the youth are seeking into. Like, a lot of the youth are not seeking in God because they're so into social media.
Yeah.
And sometimes there's therapists, there's people, sometimes it's not even a therapist. We keep talking about therapists, but journaling is a big thing that can help mental health, like writing down your issues. You don't have to post everything you feel on social media. You do not. Like, everybody does not have to be involved in your life. But yeah, like journaling is another outlet. You know, meditating on his word, read the Bible. If you don't want to seek nobody, read the Bible. He has every answer for you in the Bible. Amen. And break it down and apply it to your life. When I'm reading my Bible, I use the acronym SOAP.
Yeah.
So I do scripture, observation. So I observe the scripture, breaking down as much as I can. Then I apply it to my life, and then I pray about it. And then I added a blessing, because sometimes we forget what blessings we have in life. But SOAP is a big one. So I feel like a lot of people who are dealing with stuff, there's an answer for whatever you're going through in the Bible. Mm-hmm. So Google. This is the time to use social media. Google Bible verses for anxiety. I promise it'll come up with a bunch of stuff. Yeah. And then break it down and see how it's applying to your life and pray on it. If you don't want to seek nobody, seek the Bible.
Period.
And seek your journal. Seek the Bible and seek your journal.
Period. I feel like also sometimes you don't even have to do Google, because if you have the Bible app,
yes,
it's got a search bar.
Absolutely.
You can just put in anxiety. Boom.
Yeah.
Every scripture is going to come up.
And a lot of these Bibles have, like, in the back, like, Bible verses for this. Your TikTok Bible that they order in, they be having all that stuff.
Oh, that one with like the pictures?
The study ones?
Yeah. I've been seeing that. I thought you meant the Gen Z Bible. That's a whole thing.
No, I haven't seen that one.
You don't need to.
Okay.
It's like a Gen Z translation.
Oh, yeah. I heard a pastor reading off of it, and I was like,
the Holy Spirit was cooking. Like, it's just, I don't know how the Lord feels about that. But yeah, I was also using SOAP. I just started using Jesus for the month of June. Is J for journal, E for experience. So first you journal to God, and then you sit and with worship music or whatever, and you allow like the Lord to speak back to you. Then it's scripture, then it's understanding, and then it's speaking. That's when you then pray about what you received, and that's like the part where you're also like, it's also sharing it to other people, basically. Absolutely. What you learned.
Somebody said, where do we get the journals? I order journals off of Amazon. Sometimes I just got a notebook laying around.
Facts.
I have a bunch of notebooks, so it'd probably be 3 Bible verses in here, 7. But get something that is really cute and appealing, and you really gonna always want to keep it with you, because that's what I got, something that matched my Bible, and I just keep it in my Bible case. So Amazon, Dollar Tree.
Same. You bought my journal.
I did.
Yeah,
I bought your
so I
journal
use
off
that.
of Amazon, I think.
Yeah.
And you bought
that's
my
really
Bible.
cute.
Yes, so
So yeah, just anything, anywhere. I also have this one journal I've been using since I think it was 2021, and I think it's so cool because it's a really big journal, and I literally just got it from Walmart, and it has a Bible scripture on it. Like, okay, Walmart.
oh yeah, definitely.
But yeah, I still got pages left in that. But then I restarted when you got me that journal, so I'm the same way.
See,
I got
you be having it everywhere.
Journals.
I actually, and then like if you want something that guides you, like they have journals that's just plain notebooks and you can write stuff. That's usually what I get. But they also have like journals devotionals that guide you. I just bought one of my friends one who's like dealing with something, and it was like specifically for what she was going through, and it's gonna walk her through like a day-to-day process.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's where you can get your journal.
Amazon, we love Amazon.
Yeah,
Amazon, if you're watching.
Sponsor us.
I'm a Prime student.
I was screaming, that's funny.
Arkeylah, don't you have a journal? Segue.
I do. I have I do. I have a journal. I just published my own journal. It is called A Happy Place, 12-week journal. So it is prompt based. So there's prompts in there daily. So it's 12 weeks. So it's like, I think 7 days. So it walk you through different scenarios, and it have you just write down stuff. And then I also have, within every week, I have a body check. So you can write down like where you're having pain, how you feel today, and stuff like that, which I think, going back to sports, I feel like it will work. It will be good for athletes that are seeing their athletic trainer a lot or seeing their doctor a lot, because you'll be able to say, well, on this day I felt like this, because you're already having it in a journal. And then I have goals in there, and then in the back, which if you haven't purchased it, you need to purchase it. But in the back, I have Bible verses, just a bunch of Bible verses, a bunch of health tips. So yes, I have a journal. It is
Link in
online.
The
Yeah, link in my bio, happysports.llc. And right now it's just online, it's just digital, but I am trying to find a publisher to do hard copies. So
Wow, yay. That I am going to link Arkeylah's social medias below, so you can check out the Happy Sports LLC Instagram for the link, but I'll also put the link in the description as well, so that you could just click directly from this video and buy a book. It don't even matter if you gonna use the book. You got a cousin, you got a son, you got a brother.
You got everything.
Christ.
Yes. So
You
a
can
lot
find
of it,
somebody.
a lot of it is performance based, which means like athletes, people who are dancers, people, anything like that. But you can always answer the questions based off of your life, based off of your health life, whatever you're running, you're working out, you can always answer it. So
Yeah. Sometimes I have shoulder pain, and I'll circle the shoulder part.
yeah, you showed me that. That's why I felt like you didn't read the rest of the journal, because you only circled the shoulder part. You was only telling me how you felt. I don't think you was actually looking at the rest of the journal.
For me.
Yeah, but it's activities and stuff in there as well.
So, okay, back to the conversation of mental health. Well, we stayed on mental health, but a question I feel like people might have is like, specifically, what are some mental health, would you call them disorders or mental health illnesses? Yeah, because I know we hear anxiety, we hear depression, maybe we've heard like bipolar, schizophrenia, but I don't know if sometimes there's people going through stuff and maybe they don't consider it mental health. Maybe they just think this is like, I don't know, something that, I don't know what they might think. But
yeah, more than likely, honey, is mental health. Okay, that's what I mean. Like when people hear mental health, it's so bad.
Yeah.
Like it's so bad. Like I've had schools I've reached out to tell them what I did and to ask them if I can come, and like, you don't have to pay me. I'm just trying to come right now and do some hours, get some practice in. And they're like, Oh no, like especially coaches. You have a lot of coaches that try to steer away from that situation. Like, oh no, they okay. Like, no, they're not okay. And mental health is not bad at all. Like the mental health by itself is the well-being and the wellness of your brain and your mind. That's all that is. Mm-hmm. Mental health illness is when you have anxiety, depression, panic disorders, OCD, PTSD, eating disorders. There's just a wide range of them. So everybody in this world has some type of mental health. Everybody in this world has mental health, one, because that's the well-being of your mind. Mm-hmm. A lot of people, everyone has went through some type of mental health illness / disorder. So as soon as you get worked up and you get frigidity and that's your anxiety. That's mental health illness. But there are some severe, and I think that's where people's mindset go when you hear mental health. They think the ultimate worst thing. So schizophrenia, depression disorder, where you're just like there's no coming out of it. Like you have to seek help. Mm-hmm. There's people who go through depression, and they come right out of it. By doing something, getting out of the bed and stuff like that. But there's also severe ones where people have to go to the hospital or people have to seek somebody deeper help. Mm-hmm. So when I say there's probably over, I don't know, I might just be throwing a number out right now, 100 different mental health illness and disorders. There are. Like there's so many out here that, we may not know about or studies are being still, done. Phobias are mental health. So if you are scared, real quick, I do not like mascots. I do not like Chuck E. Cheese. I do not like anything that puts something over their head. And that is a phobia. So that is a mental illness that I am like, no, it's a real thing. Like it's a real thing. Like at my grown age, I would be like, okay, I'm gonna walk this way if I see Chuck E. Cheese coming my way. And that's a phobia. So that is a mental health illness. I need to ask God to help me do that. Like I can see you put that on and I still would be like, oh no.
Wow. So you can't do Disney.
From a distance.
But they just be everywhere. Like Mickey Mouse.
And I would be nowhere.
Wow.
So like, I mean, stuff like that, like it's the littlest things that can be anything that causes a unwell-being in your head or issues in your mind, that is mental health illness. Wow. But I just want people to know it's nothing to be bad. Like it's not anything bad, Our brains aren't all the way fully 100% good. Mm-hmm. They're not. Sometimes we are overthinking. We have to get our mental health well. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, I don't think I knew that about you.
Please don't tell nobody. Please don't tell nobody. Well, the whole world knows now, but it is what it is.
Please do not come around Arkeylah with a mascot head on.
Do not do that.
I guess Northmont was a good place for you because we just had a thunderbolt.
Yeah, that was God, actually. I want to say Kent State was the same way. I don't think we had a mascot. That was God again.
I thought it was like an eagle.
Oh, they did. I never saw it close to me, so that was God.
Wow. I have a fear of large statues. Like Touchdown Jesus, he ruined it for me.
You know what? I have to be asleep at nighttime when we drive past that.
Yo, like that's frightening. Like Jesus just... and it's huge and it's coming out of the water. I think it was the water part too.
Yeah.
I
Where's
learned
the rest of his body?
Yes, I learned on TikTok. It's a true thing. It's called like aqua megaphobia or something. It's the fear of large items submerged underwater.
Yes.
And it's terrifying.
Yeah.
But
see,
God did not give us the spirit of fear.
Absolutely not. But just stay away. Okay? Stay away.
Okay, random question. Did you see Inside Out too?
No. I want to go see it today because it's $6.
Oh, $6 Tuesday.
And it's like, I be want to ask Tyler to go with me, but it's like, I don't know if he like that. So then I might pick up a random kid and go.
I went by myself.
I might go by myself.
And
that's the other thing.
Quiet.
You have to do stuff by yourself to help with your mental
Yeah.
health. But no, I have not seen it. But I see a lot of people talking about anxiety. You have to come out of her or something like that.
You gotta let her go.
You have to let her go.
In Jesus' name, Shondo! Joy didn't say the Shondo part or the in Jesus' name. But
I'm screaming.
It was applied. It was.
Yeah, I heard a lot of people talking about it.
It was real good.
My mom says she has been to Disney several times. True story. She is petrified. I am.
Yeah. Arkeylah is over there on live, so if you're confused, that's the.
Oh yeah, sorry.
The
I am
double
on
phone
live
situation.
on my work phone and on my personal account.
Okay, so for the questions, hold on, where's my screenshot? Okay. So, what has been your experience with mental health in church? I also have another question that I'm going to ask after that.
What has been my experience with mental health in church?
Because, like you said, you talked about how, like, you've felt like situation of like anxiety and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Was there like a time in church where you felt like you overcame that? Like, have you had any experiences where you felt like church helped your mental health, or like where it was like, I don't know, you had a direct situation with
I
mental
would
health
say there's been times that I've heard people say, oh no, that's of the devil, like anxiety, depression, and stuff like that. Definitely in the church. Or maybe, in the church. And then also, when we used to praise dance, I would, be nervous, like really nervous, because one, you're performing in front of people, and now I don't even care, but it's been times where I don't like to be the center of attention, so I instantly get anxious and I instantly get nervous. So when we start doing our little prayer before, I just lost it because you definitely just said it. What
God
did
is
say?
not giving us.
God is not giving us a spirit of fear, but of love, peace, and a sound mind.
But of power, love, and
Power, love, and a sound mind. My bad.
That's okay.
So I feel like that Bible verse specifically helped with my mental health. It helped me not be nervous and anxious, and even not even praise dancing. It's times that I get nervous and anxious, and I say that to myself to like calm myself down, like. So yeah, I would say that's how church has played a role, but also I've heard, the whole myths and stuff, how people felt about mental health.
Yeah. Going off of that, how do you feel like mental health should be addressed in church?
Like,
what do you feel like the preachers, the leaders can be doing?
I feel like the preachers and the pastors and everything, they should have a open door for people to come talk to them. So you have pastors and preachers who talk to marriage couples and talk people through marriage and stuff like that. But it should also be an open door for them to be a therapist, like talk to your people spiritually out of stuff they're going through. And we should be okay. We should be okay with our pastors and our leaders to the point where we're comfortable to talk to them about those things. So even if they're not talking about it or not giving sermons about it, they should have that open door, open arms, like where my people are going through stuff, but I am there to help them. Like I am their outlet to help them.
Yeah.
And if you preach about it, I'm not a pastor, so I'm going to just say it. But I just say, like, if you are preaching about it, don't speak against it. And when I say speak against it, I mean, like, don't tell people not to go see therapists. Don't tell people it is a sin to have mental illness. You know what I'm saying? Like, do not
don't condemn people.
Yeah, don't condemn people for what they're going through mentally and inside. But definitely, I would say how I feel like leaders and pastors can help is by being that open door, being that, having that persona and demeanor where people feel comfortable with. I'll just go talk to my pastor. I can call my pastor real quick. But we also have to know, like, our pastors are going through a lot and they have a lot on their plate.
Yeah.
But still, like, just knowing that my pastor is available for me to talk to. Like,
yeah.
There was one time I was just overwhelmed at work, like overwhelmed. And baby, when I am overwhelmed, I cry. Okay. Like when I'm overwhelmed and when I'm mad, I cry. And it don't be no cute cry like, oh my gosh, no, baby, I am boo-hooing. So it was one time I was coming home from work and I was just stressed. Like, oh my God, I'm just so tired. And usually when I talk to my mom, I cry for real, like, because I just feel like I'm that little baby, like calling my mom. So I was like, I don't know what to do, like, whatever. And I was sitting in my car, like, it's like 9 o'clock at night. I'm like, I'm gonna call my pastor, She didn't answer, but it's okay. Baby, it was late. So then I was like, I'm gonna call somebody else who I see as a leader in our church, just for somebody to help me praying. And I was like, okay, she didn't answer either. But at that moment, I knew it was God just wanted me to seek to him by myself. Like, you're in the car, you're calling all these people to give you a prayer. Pray to me. Like, you know what you're going through. Pray to me. You don't have to call all these people. Yeah. But I felt comfortable with wanting to call my pastor. I felt like I was able to just call her anytime and she could answer. Granted, she probably was asleep, but I have that comfortable feeling with my leader and my pastor. Like, not even just her, but even her husband, our main pastor. I felt comfortable with calling them. Like, I feel comfortable with talking to them about whatever it is I'm going through. So we have a lot of pastors and stuff that are celebrity and cannot touch, and you have to go through people. There's people set to talk to you about certain things, but you have to feel comfortable with who's leading your church. I mean, you ain't got to tell them your whole life story. They ain't got to be involved in everything, but you should feel comfortable, and they should allow you to feel comfortable with talking to them.
I agree. I think that's a big thing, because I know, like, when I even talk to our pastors and like other people about our church, I feel like that's something that's like kept me, is that like relational aspect with them. They're right there. They're coming up to you. They're wanting to, say something to you before you leave. Like, if you left early the Sunday before, like, they remembered because they want to talk to you and they want to see how you're doing. Oh, yeah,
definitely. If I am not at church, I get a text message like, hey, we miss you. And I love that, because there's so many people in our church, but they pay attention. And they even tell us, like, I pray for everybody in this church by name. Yeah. So they pay attention, and that just makes me feel more comfortable. Like, I'm not just a number in here. I'm not just somebody that give an offer and pay tithes. Like, I have a relationship with my pastor, you know? So, yeah. Yeah. And you even see that in, like, our altar calls. Because, like, growing up, when we had altar calls, it was, like, multiple people come up, and you can go to either one to, like, pray for you. And, like, you was special if you got in that one line to get directly to pastor. It's like, oh, my goodness, I made it. But, like, for us, it could be 15 people up there. Our pastor is going to go down the line and pray for everybody. Each person. Absolutely. Like, give them a prophecy and all. And I just love that. So, yeah. Okay, next question is, so what do you feel like God is doing in this next season of your life? Oh, wait, girl. I got chills. I don't know. Like, you know what? Actually, let me go back. On, what was it? Saturday, maybe Friday. One of those days last week, I had what I felt like was a breakthrough. What I felt like a mental breakthrough. It probably wasn't. It's probably not happening yet, but it's to come. Like, I had felt it already. Yeah. So
spiritually, it was deposit. You just waiting for it to manifest.
Absolutely, it's already deposit. Absolutely. Yeah. So I was laying down, and I had a long day at work, so I had took a nap, and I had woke up, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, I need a new job, like, bad. No offense to people that work with. But I was just laying there like, oh my gosh, I need a new job. Like, God, like, what is it? What am I doing? Like, questioning. And that's where I mess up a lot. Like, I'm done questioning God, because on his time. Like, and I think God makes us laugh when we feel like we got it all figured out and when this is our plan and stuff like that. He'd be like, all right, go ahead. But anyways, I was just laying there, and I was like, oh my gosh. And I had watched this TikTok. I'm a TikTok girl, but I had watched this TikTok, and he was just talking about, like, the season you're going through is hard because God is trying to see if you can handle what he has next for you. And when I say this 30-second TikTok was everything I am going through right now, I was like, oh my gosh. And I even had to send it to my friend who I do Bible study with, because we're going through the same thing. And I sent it to her like, girl, I'm done. Like, I trust God. I give it all to him. I'm done. And then I saw this other TikTok, and I think I read a little bit of what it said, but the song just kept saying, like, silence the voice in my mind. Open. Yes. Sing it, girl. And he was just open the voice in my heart. I think that's what it was. Something like that. But it just kept playing over and over. And I started crying, because I'm like, literally, this season, although I may not have the job I want, but this season, I even posted it all on my Instagram, my main page, because it was just like, I've got to share this with the world right now. I'm sitting here laying down crying because this season that I'm in right now is a lot of the stuff I prayed for. Like, I prayed for the relationship, the type of person I'm dealing with right now in my relationship. Like, I prayed for a car, and I got a whole new car off the lot right before I got my master's, and was able to drive to the school for graduation. I prayed for health in my family. Like, it was a moment where we was just losing people in our family, especially when I was in college. I was just losing people, and I think that's also where my faith got stronger, because I was just praying out of a lot of stuff. I was going through it. It was COVID, and I was losing all my uncle. Well, I lost my 2 uncles and then my cousin, and then it was other people I had lost while I was in school, and I'm away from my family. So I prayed for, good health in my family, a better relationship. And I feel like our family is getting closer and closer, and we're doing stuff. And also, like, my living situation, where I live, like, having my own space like that. So I was just laying there thinking about all the stuff that I have now and that I once was laying down praying for. And I was like, you know what, God? I know you're going to make it happen. So I'm sitting here crying because I know you're going to make it happen. And I feel like it's coming soon. Like, when I say I have been tested in every department, situation at work and in my life right now, I have been tested. And that's why I know, like, there is a season to come. Whether I know exactly what he has planned for me, I know that something greater is coming. And also another thing that I see him doing to me right now is making sure that even after he blessed me, I still want to have that hunger for him, and I still want to have that relationship for him. So I don't know, to answer your question again, I don't know what the season holds for me. I do know that greater is coming. I do know I will have peace of mind. I will be able to pour into stuff that is for me. Because for a second, I was like, I'll just wait to do this after I get a new job. But I was like, no, I'm going to do it now as if God already gave me a job. Already gave me a job. I was like letting my business go underway. And then that's when I dropped my online version of my journal. Because I'm thinking I got to wait till I get a new job to do this. I'm like, no, God, I'm going to just do this. So, yeah, I don't know what's up for me. But I know greater is coming. I know God has something planned for me. Definitely. If it had not been for the shaking, I wouldn't be ready for the making. And I am in my shaking phase of life right now. Because, baby, I be shaking. I be shook. I be going through it. But it just makes me want to get in my word more and pray out of every situation. Literally, I be praying out of every situation now. So,
man. Sorry, when you said that, it always reminds me of James 1:3. Consider it pure joy, my brethren. Oh, okay. That the trying, sometimes it says the testing of your faith creates endurance.
Absolutely.
But let endurance have its perfect.
Absolutely.
Complete.
Yes.
Work in you so that you will lack nothing.
Nothing at all. Yep. And when I was going through this, my little, what do I call it? I guess mental breakthrough. After I posted that on Instagram, telling the world, I just felt like I had to tell somebody. So I just posted it all, tell the world. But I also went to my notes and I just started typing stuff. And my fingers are just going. I'm like, God, I thank you. I thank you for this. I thank you for the issues I'm going through at work. I thank you. Like, even stuff that I feel like is not a blessing, I just start thanking him for it because I feel it inside me, growing me into a better godly woman, but also into the better version of myself.
Yeah.
Because for a second, I'm like, I don't know what this is, but baby, I can't do it.
Because the growth, honey, I remember rapid fire pizza you.
You're
and what she would have did in this job versus what you are doing, that's on growth.
Definitely on growth. Like, if it wasn't for Jesus,
hey, where would I be?
Yeah, so
where would I be?
I don't even try to match people's energy. I don't even try to. I don't know. I feel a different person.
Yeah.
But I'd be like, some days I'll be like, God, get him. Or I'd be like, you know what, God, go handle it. I'ma just stay professional.
Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I'm excited for what's to come because that's so real. Like, when the Lord tests you, it's like, I don't know, you're just going to see it because, like, you going through all this stuff when you are in that position that you really want and you go through the same things, you won't react like you could have reacted because you've already experienced this. And now you'll be able to stay where you're placed and planted.
Absolutely. And it's crazy because when I graduated, when I got my bachelor's from Kent State, I was like, oh, I'm going to Houston. I'm going to work for the NFL team. I'm going to pass my test. I'm going to do this. I had my own life figured out. But God showed me real quick. That's why I'm still right here. So it's like now that I am back in my word and I am like getting my faith back together, it's like I'm looking back now like if God would allow me to have my own plans for my life, I probably wouldn't have been reading my Bible as much as I do now. I probably wouldn't have been, mentally and spiritually prepared for all the stuff I would have went through working for an NFL team. I probably would have been stressed, wouldn't know how to deal with it. But like now, he's testing me through all this stuff and it's like I'm prepared. But also I know like I still have him and I still am growing closer to him. And I could only imagine like how greater my faith would be.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, that was good. This has been a long video, but it's been a good one.
Ask your baby.
Is there anything before we close this out? Anything you want to leave the people with? Anything you want to say?
Seek a relationship with God.
Amen.
And if you are not a spiritual person, just try them out, test them out a little bit. Go to your friend's church, listen to a Godly Girl podcast. Ask somebody about them. Google about them. Something. Because what I'm seeing now is like a lot of people, I would definitely say like a lot of my college friends are more spiritual and are posting more about God. And I think that should be our whole youth population. Like that should be our young people. Like not only like people who are in their 20s, but we should pour out into the kids too. Like let them know about Jesus, go pick up a Sunday school, go teach the young people one day, even if you got to do coloring books, whatever the case may be. But definitely seek a relationship with God, seek a stronger relationship with God if you already have one. But also try him out if you don't know him. If you never heard about him, I'm sure you heard about him. But try him out.
Jesus.
Try Jesus.
If you're in this video, you heard about him.
Don't try me.
Try Jesus.
Cause I just
I knew exactly where I was going.
Definitely try Jesus. Definitely try him.
Amen. Well, Arkeylah, thank you so much for coming on the Godly Girlies podcast.
Thank you for having me. I thought I was never gonna get on here. This is my first podcast and I'm just so excited.
More to come, I'm sure. But yes, like I said before, Arkeylah's social medias will be in the description below. They'll also pop up on the screen, maybe like right here.
Yes.
And in the description will also be the link to her journal.
Yay.
So you can get that, give it as a gift to somebody. School is starting. Give it to somebody who you know is a school athlete, whatever.
Yes.
Give it to your son, your cousin, your uncle, your sister, your brother.
I'm screaming.
Yes. Oh, yeah, because I just keep saying boys. It's not just for boys.
It's not. I never said that. It's for everybody. Definitely for everybody. And quick little plug. I will be coming out with a podcast, too.
Wow! And I will be on her podcast.
Definitely. I will return the favor.
But yeah, guys, I will see you in the next video. Bye.
Walk her down the valley, pack a piece of heaven for the bottoms of her feet. Teach her how to jump and how to stretch when she reach.